This is Bad News Hughes with your British election update. The second worst country in the world is headed back to the polls. Will the boot of history keep stomping them in the face? Or could they paint the boot red this time? We'll find out soon enough. Boris Johnson's Conservatives are promising to finally deliver on Brexit. Now, any reasonable person wants to destroy the European Parliament. But why start there? Why not burn down Westminster to the ground before moving on to Brussels? Did anybody think this through? The Conservatives are the party of landlords and 80-year-olds. Two groups of people who won't even be around in 10 years. Tories are the kind of people that hate when the monarchy does charity work, but love the kind of parties they throw. These people belong in prison. The Labour Party starts out strong by promising to hire 10,000 more police officers. You'll need someone to round up all the Tories. Things got even better when Jeremy Corbyn promised a green industrial revolution. Building trains and power plants is my favorite part of socialism. Then I learned Corbyn isn't willing to drop the bomb. Are you serious? No nuclear weapons? How do you think the revolution can survive without nuclear blackmail? If you're not willing to vaporize Washington and Berlin at the first sign of foreign intervention, why even overthrow the government? The Scottish National Party aren't much better. What self-respecting National Liberation Front doesn't have a standing army? It's not like there's a shortage of rifles in the world. The SNP didn't even have the decency to rig their own independence referendum. If you want independence, why not show a little guts? Stuff a few ballot boxes. The Liberal Democrats have no reason to exist, even compared to most other politicians. No one likes liberals. No one likes bourgeois nerds. No one likes yellow. The Liberal Democrats went all in on defending the European Union status quo, but no one even likes the status quo. Just a waste of time all around. Another insult to consider is the Brexit Party. Party shouldn't be named after a short-term goal. It makes the whole thing seem a bit too much like shopping. A party should be named after a new mode of production, like communism. Something that will last forever. Now, we shouldn't forget Wales. Wales is usually an afterthought in British politics. This is a huge mistake. The terrain makes it great for waging a war of the countryside against the cities. A small force could bog down the British Army for years. Freedom for Wales is a realistic possibility, if the left is willing to fight for it. As for the northern part of Ireland, I'm not sure there's much to worry about. The case for a united Ireland seems to be building by the day. Old grudges are fading away as support for the Republican cause becomes the new consensus. All that's left is to topple the Dublin regime and build a new workers' republic. I guess I'm actually pretty optimistic about the whole election. The old United Kingdom appears headed towards oblivion. Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and yes, even Cornwall could be free within my lifetime. The Tories could be in jail, and Labour could nationalize the trains. It's not communism, but it's a start. Thanks, everyone.
And it's running, the thing he's running?
Yeah, it's, all the doohickeys are, they're going.
The Globos are murraying.
Yeah. Everything is going well. There are no technical issues whatsoever. There have never been any technical
That's
issues.
an absurd accusation to even suggest for a moment that there might be a
dare you
that in the absence of our producer Chris that we find ourselves a bunch of just complete technical oafs and incompetence who somehow managed to leave the recorder not recording for a good portion of an attempt to make a podcast.
Hey guys, you know what we should do? Let's just record some completely improvised material right now.
Oh my gosh, that's a good idea.
It's just an hour of completely improvised, unstructured material, not
my favorite thing to
based
do,
on
really.
anything we may have recorded just an hour ago.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing in the world to do, actually, is to do improvisational conversations.
Oh, hello. This is Chapo calling. I'm Virgil. That's Amber, and that's Max.
They can't see you pointing.
Okay, well, I feel like the way I said that would have conjured the image of me pointing.
I would like to hear if anybody wants to let us know if they felt that. Email Virgil.
DM Virgil.
DM Virgil, and he will be glad to hear whether or not you could intuit the point.
We are coming to you from beautiful, rainy London,
Gray,
England.
sooty, dismal. Everything feels like it's at least 20 years old. Like you literally are in the past in England.
And this week we are doing a classic Chapo sitcom with an A plot, a B plot, and a C plot. The A plot is, of course, the three of us, soon to be joined by Chris, here in London to cover the UK election.
Really could have used Chris there for a little about an hour ago.
That's enough of that. Only improvised things. The B plot is, of course, our special boy Will, who's in Los Angeles for Porn Carnival West Coast. And the C plot is Felix's gaming.
Yep. And in my version of this episode, we get very short little bits, and the rest of it's just him cursing at 12-year-olds on Fortnite.
But, of course, we are the A plot. Actually, Felix, he actually will have his own adventure later at the end of this week when he goes to Buffalo, New York to go to a music festival with our good friend Keith Buckley.
Yeah, looks like it'll be a fun time. But
But-
some of us have higher callings.
Some of us have wonkery to do.
Yes.
Foreign wonkery. Three of us will be here all week. We are, as you may have heard, doing 2 shows in London, 1 show in Liverpool. Tickets are available for the second London show. Tickets are also still available for our Liverpool show Wednesday. And we're also here to interfere in a foreign election.
Of course,
Yeah.
we love doing
We
that.
just love doing it.
And, of course, we're here to cover the election also as neutral third-party
Which, of course,
observers.
in a Heisenbergian sense, is also interfering with the election by
Right.
observing it.
Yeah. Neutral, impartial, third-party interference.
Yes,
The best kind.
yeah. This will make the second country to interfere in the UK's election. After the revelation. That's so stupid. Fuck me.
We're really okay. Here's the thing: we were out really late last night, and I think British drinking culture exists for a reason. It's like when you get here, you want to do anything to destroy yourself.
Yes. Last time, Amber, I know she has more experience being in London, but for me, I'd never been before. Last time we were here a few months ago on our European tour, I didn't really see very much. We were just here for like 1 or 2 nights. This time, we've been here for a couple days, and we've had the opportunity to walk around, to interact with things and people, and we can confirm that everything here is wrong.
Right.
Yep.
Everything here is
By the way,
just wrong enough to be
Love
vexing.
a lot of English people. There's some amazing places in England, just not London. It's hell.
Yeah, there are some absolute legends here.
Mhm.
But on the whole, as a culture, this is not okay. This is not acceptable. And when I say things are broken, I'm not just talking about, you drive on the wrong side of the road, which, of course, you absolutely do.
This is stupid. We invented the
We
car.
invented the car.
Do it.
The only people who do it are you and places where you enforced it at the barrel of a gun. You clearly are the wrong side of the road.
It's
Objectively.
perverse.
Come on. You're just doing it to be different.
No, I mean the actual human beings are also wrong. And there is
Very much so.
There is a certain culture in public spaces that is the best way I can describe it is imagine if everyone in a city were us. Constantly complaining about things, and they can't let something go without making some kind of wise-ass remark to a stranger
Yeah.
that is supposed to be a witticism, but it's never funny or even that clever.
They're
And
leaning on the accent.
half the time, it's just also just a racist thing.
Hey, Rob, Governor, look at this bloody bloke. He's probably, isn't he?
How many racist jokes have you just politely laughed at, do you think, not knowing
even
what they were
knowing
saying?
what they were saying to you.
Well, I mean, I have actually heard racist things from strangers in the course of 2 days. Which, I mean, for one, I mean, it's way more interactions from strangers than I would have anywhere else, or at least I would have in New York, right? Because in New York, if a stranger comes up to you, they're either scamming you in some fashion, hey, buddy, hold this cake, or they're,
That's my favorite. one.
or they're, running some PUA lines on you.
Right.
They're displaying higher value and so on, doing Keno, so on and so forth. Otherwise, a stranger, great, that's someone to not interact with. Yes, that's normal.
I think in New York, when someone asks me if I'm Polish, it is because they too are Polish. Here, it's dodgier. It's much dodgier.
Get the bloody pierogies out of the Sainsbury's. I had enough of it. You can leave it out, right? Leave the bloody pierogies out of my bloody Sainsbury's. That's right. I'm switching it up, guys. No more Tesco. Everyone's sick of Tesco. I've decided I'm pulling the switch. Update your fucking spreadsheets.
It's a new era.
It's the new era. It's the Sainsbury's era because it's so fun to say too. It's just like Tesco. I actually had a guy the other day say to me after I posted a picture of myself in front of a Tesco. He goes, "What is it with Americans and Tesco?" I'm sorry. It's a hilarious word to say, especially in a British accent, which is also true of Sainsbury's, which apparently is named after a guy named Lord Sainsbury.
Of course.
I know if there are British people listening, they don't know why we think it's funny. It's so funny.
All your shit is funny naming. I'm sorry. It
Lord
all
Sainsbury.
is. Everything here is hilarious. It's like everything here seems like it was named by the guys who did the Looney Tunes. Like the people understand the value of like comedy K's and all the different things that make a word funny.
Friendship ended with Tesco.
Sainsbury's is my new friend because you can go like it's Sainsbury's.
So I mean, I don't.
By the way, tomorrow we will be canvassing in Dagenham and Barking.
See, absurd. Barking, another place that's real. Dorking, also real. Barking and dorking.
Hey, that's what you do.
No,
that's
it's
what
not.
you do.
I don't do that.
You
I do not
dork is a
dork.
verb.
I never do it. I've never done it once. I certainly would not do it there.
You do it in public.
No, I don't do it.
So I don't know if that's just the way people are here, or it's the election, or whatever. But I have been involved in multiple conversations that were not solicited from strangers.
Yeah,
and I don't. Maybe it's because when Will is not in the group, I fill the de facto Will role, which means I absorb all of the negative attention from other people.
Yeah, because Will is the soft little cuddle bug.
Oh yeah,
and so everyone just
arms
sees him.
outstretched into
So
the
they
world.
just annihilate
Yeah,
him. It's
no
like
one
Godzilla.
messes with Matt because they assume maybe he's drunk.
Yeah, or I'm large. I might start yelling at them.
I have resting bitch face. It's really Will kind of draws.
Yeah, he's like a
fire.
He's like a friendly stuffed animal. It's like Godzilla versus
Hey,
Bambi.
guys.
Yeah, it's Godzilla
my
versus
Will
Bambi
impression.
every time. And then
pretty good, right?
That's a cute Will.
and then some psycho will show up and be like, "Oh, this is a person I'm going to abuse and harass now," and just sort of bully it, and he just has to take it. Poor guy. So that's you now, dude. Enjoy
That's
it.
you.
That's me. I guess for the duration of this fucking trip, or maybe at least until we leave London for a nice place like Liverpool
place.
or Manchester.
Lovely.
but-
lovely people, lovely places.
As we said, while we're here, we figure we should interfere in a foreign election and do some canvassing for Jeremy Corbyn. And I want to be clear on this. We don't actually care what happens to your awful island.
Oh God, no.
Like not at all. Everything south of Hadrian's Wall is, should be blockaded, honestly. But we want Jez to win.
Yeah.
We think like building like an international left is important. You could interpret this maybe a harbinger for Bernie Sanders' chances going forward.
It would give us a shot in the arm.
And
Absolutely.
honestly, what it really comes down to is he'd do it for me.
Oh my God.
He would. Because he is, I realize
Because
this.
he's weird. He's so weird.
He's weird, but he's nice. By all accounts, he's a very nice, like morally upstanding
He's
man.
a nice man.
And he's honestly maybe one of 5 politicians alive in either country whom I would say is a more moral human being than I am. Obviously, that's a really
Very low
bar.
bar.
Right.
But he clears
We're
it.
scum.
You
but
are a Bret Easton Ellis character. So it's a very low bar.
Yeah, how many messes have I seen you create and then walk away from?
What? Not one time have I done that.
really,
No.
he's the only mess he can't walk away from.
Truly, truly.
Yeah, he'd do it for us.
Yeah.
And so
You do it for the weirdos.
He's a true believer.
So we'll be going out, as if you are in the UK, you should also go out, and you can do that by going onto the website. What's the website called?
I think it's People's Momentum.
I thought it was like
they
My
know what
Election
they can
Map.
do. Yeah, but that's I think in the get this.
Just go to your computer.
Like just type in how
Type
do
in
I
stuff.
canvas? Yeah.
Something will come out.
You know what? No. DM Virgil.
Yes.
No,
That's it.
don't do
And
that.
ask
No,
him
no,
where he
Yes.
should.
So what is the area we'll be going to?
Dagenham.
What does that mean?
So Dagenham is sort of in this sad moat around London. That actually it's post-industrial. They're very big levers. And I mean, traditionally, obviously, you'll find all kinds of people in all kinds of places. And they had a Ford plant shut down, so we'll be back in the Midwest, Matt.
Oh yay!
This is a bunch of sad people that used to have nice manufacturing jobs.
Who doesn't love that?
Oh God,
They're gonna be great. It's like talking to my angry uncles.
Oh God, I'm not a Midwesterner. This is gonna be another Will day. I just know
They
it.
will not like you.
Oh no!
Of course, they might also ask me if I'm Polish. I don't know. Like it could go either way.
Oh, bruv, what you're the gear? What's your on about over here?
No,
You
they're gonna be
you want
great.
the piss, mate.
They're going to be great people, and we're going to be talking. It's a marginal, so we will be talking to people from different sort of political orientations. But I think everyone we meet is going to love us and is going to vote for Jeremy Corbyn on the basis of our charm and political dedication.
What do you prefer, as a wonk, the term for a district or
Yeah.
a constituency that can go either way? Swing district, or as they call them here, marginals.
Okay.
Marginals. I'm kind of charmed by marginals, I will admit, but
I would think you would pick swing.
I actually do pick swing because I like the visual.
Marginal
elements.
also sounds like a diss.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
that's
It's
true.
like
There's a double
swing
meaning
district really does tell you what it means.
Yeah.
Like it can go either way. But when I
Marginal's
hear
misleading.
marginal, it's like, yeah, you're like, oh, this is a fucking marginal district.
Yeah.
Don't bother with
It's
those
bullshit.
assholes. They're in
Yeah.
a marginal district.
The wonderful people of Dagenham are they're not marginal at all.
Yeah, no, they're marginal.
So Matt and I spent a little time today, kind of thinking out what responses we may get canvassing, and how we should respond to them.
Yeah,
what
don't overthink it.
concerns voters should raise. Yeah, well, this is just like a fun exercise to think
That
about.
you can do prone, which is what we were most of the day.
Oh yeah. Well, I've kind of been drinking. I mean, that's really the only way to function here is to never be sober.
Yeah.
And it's working. It's working. It's going great. Can't wait to get a Guinness from the Sainsbury's and go canvassing bright and early.
Yeah.
No, so the one thing that might be on a lot of voters' minds is, isn't Labor anti-Semitic?
Mm-hmm.
And I do have a few stock responses for this. So first off, my canvassing strategy is to lie. Just make things up.
Yeah,
It's fine.
what are they gonna do?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Report me.
Yeah. How are they going to know?
Yeah.
I will say this. I don't think anyone who doesn't have a column thinks that Jeremy Corbyn is anti. Actually,
problem
I don't
is-
think that those people think it either.
Right.
And I think my response to that is, yeah, you don't really believe that.
Okay. Well, here's my response. Sir or ma'am, would it surprise you to learn that I myself am a Jew? There's no comeback for that one.
That's true.
You do sort of have the vibe.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got the Woody Allen.
I also have to be the Felix
energy
when he's
there.
not around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling double duty here, and it is hard. It is hard to constantly be drunk, getting abused, and gaming, and like glued to my phone constantly. I'm like constantly. This must be why people are yelling at me because I'm constantly walking into traffic
Yeah.
and bike lanes and shit.
Yeah.
I actually, that is the thing. Like, I will die that way.
Yeah.
I will look the wrong way
Yeah.
and get hit by a car.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Lying. That's the ticket. We alluded to this earlier, but yeah. So if the Tories win, like you said, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Don't have to
social
care
safety
about
net.
England anymore. Thank God.
And for English people, bye-bye everything you like.
Yeah.
Everything that makes this place inhabitable.
Livable at all. Minimal standard of living.
Yeah.
And the big one,
You get your cirrhosis treated for free.
and the big one, and this honestly really is the only issue in this election. This is the only thing that anyone should care about. This is the only salient fucking issue, is that the Tories don't even deny that they will sell off the NHS. They will privatize the NHS.
Yep.
Sell it to us, which, thank you.
Yeah.
It's free real estate, baby.
Yeah, well, I mean, quite a bit of of the Chapo endowment is currently tied up in healthcare companies, pharmaceuticals,
Yeah.
various research agencies,
Yeah,
things of this nature.
Yeah, no. After the last polling that showed the conservatives up, I put a long-term, what do they call it? A put?
Yeah, put. Yeah.
I did a put on Merck.
Yeah.
I don't know
you
what
will,
either of those words are.
yeah, you will have an what you if you elect the Tories, you'll do the Brexit. You'll have an exodus of Europeans, and they will be replaced by little Mayor Pete's. With tape measures,
Bunch of
going to all
McKinsey
the
guys.
hospitals and just sizing up the place.
And also just say, you're not really that sick. And you are that sick. I've seen you people.
And there was this really interesting video I saw. I forget who put it out. I think it was some publication where it was like a man on the street thing where they asked British people, hey, in America, how much do you think an ambulance ride costs? And they're like, I don't know, $50. That's a ride. No, it's like $2,000.
$2,500.
Like something. That's
It's to the point where people literally take Ubers and Ubers turn them down because you're bleeding in the Uber and they don't like that. And it's like, well, what do you want from me?
Yeah. What do you want from me, life?
Stop this world. I want to get off.
So, I mean, I guess I think maybe your average British person, it definitely depends on the NHS, who would probably be in poverty if it were not for the NHS.
Of course. They're horribly unhealthy people.
Cannot fathom exactly how bad a private health
they
insurance
don't
system
get
is.
it, and it's actually very frustrating. So the first time, which was years ago, when I started following the Corbyn campaign, because I'm like, maybe someday someone will give me a book deal for this, because I think a thing is going to happen, and fortune smiled upon me. And I stayed at the warehouse fucking squat of a former anarchist who later became an assistant to a Labour MP. Very nice boy, whatever, let me sleep in his living room. But at one point I said, well, you guys have the NHS, and so like it's a really big deal for us to like push for Bernie, and he's like, well, you guys have like Obamacare. And I was like, I hope you get cancer. I hate you so much. They really have no idea. And they try and do this faux modesty thing that I fucking hate about Europeans, where they're like, well, the grass is always greener. No, the grass is clearly greener.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
It's a weird.
It's empirically provable.
It's kind of weird because that is on both sides of the pond. This is a imaginative hurdle that's going to be a problem for both sides, and it's the same phenomenon, but it's just a reverse. So in Britain, because they've had the NHS forever, they cannot conceive of what an American healthcare system is. So when you tell them, like, they will just not give you, if you have cancer and you can't pay for it, then you just won't get it.
Guess I'll die. The guess I'll die means.
You will not get cancer treatment and you will die.
Right. They cannot fathom the barbarism of that because they have been raised their entire lives to believe like, oh, yes, an advanced industrial society.
And so even though we have this thing here and we could point it to you and show you all the horror stories, they just can't imagine that it would ever happen there. They'll be like, nah, they'll never do that. And it's the exact same thing in the United States. A lot of people who don't want Medicare for all because they're like, a healthcare system where I don't pay anything, but I actually get to go to the doctor and they treat me and I don't pay. That's not real. That's a made up thing. You can't have that.
It's free real estate.
But they got it. It's over there. And they're like, no, there's a catch. There's got to be a catch.
Yeah.
Well, and anytime you hear someone talk about like, oh, well, the NHS has problems. Like, of course it has problems. Fuck off. It's still better. Like, grow up.
Well, it's the main problem is underfunding it. They've been underfunding it on purpose for fucking
that would be
40
austerity.
years.
I mean, the catch is that you constantly have to defend it against the people who want to dismantle it.
Yeah. I hate them so much. By the way, here's what you as an American can do to help if you're just, a poster, a classic poster. Just constantly tweet and post about how much you owe in healthcare. Just tell them all. Like there's the one tweet where the person had to pay like an extra $200 or something for skin to skin contact with their kid. Like the idea that it costs thousands of dollars just to have a baby. That's just to have it. That's just to never mind what if it's got any problems, little spanner in the works.
Could you imagine having to explain to a British person like copays and deductibles and all that shit? They would just chuckle and pat you on the head and say, oh, that's a fairy tale.
Well, that's the thing about Obamacare is the things. Even in America, nobody really got their head around the fucking deductible. That was the real thing that made Obamacare a farce, was that, oh yeah, but you get all these subsidies. But there's still a minimum amount you'd have to accrue in payment before they would kick in a cent, which means it still costs you would still have to pay thousands of dollars for anything.
Most
for
people
hope of
don't have an
reimbursement.
extra $500 lying
Right,
around.
exactly.
A little less $6,000.
Yeah. And the idea, and like that reality that in America for millions of people, like as appendicitis, broken bone could literally throw your entire life into a
baby.
complete fucking tailspin. They just can't get their head around that. It's like, no, that's insane. What kind of society would do that? Us, baby. We are doing it every day, and we love it.
We are not prepared.
We
are not prepared to live in a society.
And we're a bunch of fucking Plato's cave dwellers trying to throw shit at Bernie Sanders, saying, "No, look, all these other things doable." They're like, "Fuck you, old man. That's not possible." Having a medical debt around your neck for your entire life, that's a part of life. It's as immutable as the tides.
Oh, God. It weren't so depressing. It is. The NHS really is a wonder of the modern world.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I prefer that. I would prefer the model of that.
What has Britain
Medicare for all
given the world? It's the good parts.
Jarvis Cocker.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Even though I think he's a really big Ramoner. Anyway, but like Shakespeare,
Pretty
David
good.
Attenborough nature documentaries,
Mhm.
and a model for healthcare that is should be emulated by the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so what should have been the turning point in this election was a couple weeks ago when Jez got the documents.
Folks, I've seen the
Documents.
folks. I've seen the documents, folks, and they're right here for me.
Jez got the documents, so maybe rewind a moment and say, okay, they're doing damn Brexit. You all you don't know what that word means. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
They're doing the Brexit.
They're doing the damn Brexit, and Boris Johnson says, if you elect me, I'll do the damn Brexit, and no bad things will happen. We found the documents that validate Labour's charge this whole election, that, actually, he's lying to you. Yes, he'll do the Brexit technically, and then immediately go to the United States to negotiate a trade deal where the NHS is on the table. We're privatizing that, opening that up to private equity firms in the United States. That's going to happen. And it's going to get worse. And he had the documents. He had the documents. It's right there.
Yeah.
And nobody denied that the documents are real.
Yeah, no, they're real.
No,
They're
they Boris just smirked with that lollipop eating fucking grin.
Yeah. Well, he knew that everyone in the press would be like, very interesting, but anti-Semitism, though.
Yeah.
And so about a week after that, a couple days ago, Reddit released a statement saying that.
What the fuck's Reddit doing releasing statements?
Yeah, that is a really fucked up thing. Reddit is releasing a statement saying.
It was one word, and we can't say it on the show.
Yes.
It took a minute, but you got there.
Yeah, that's good.
I still don't get it.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
My will. Reddit released a statement on their official Upskirt channel.
Yes.
They released a statement saying, we did an analysis here, and it turns out that the account that leaked the documents is linked to Russian disinformation campaigns.
Well, there we go.
So that's the story now. Now, again, the validity of the documents is not in question.
Which means, by
Right.
definition, it is not disinformation.
No, it's information. It's a
It's
Russian
information.
information. A helpful
It's
Russian,
disinformation.
Yeah.
helpful Russian information.
Thank you, Russian information man. The information man is a figure for Russian folklore. He comes to the villages.
It's just like some 75-year-old stalwart communist that just before the end of history, I was information man for Soviet system.
So that's the narrative now. It's the phony bully Russia bullshit that all the libs are obsessed with. The United States. I don't know. Are you guys gonna buy that one too?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, the thing that makes it interesting, and I don't know if you want to talk about this now, is that, and though it makes this fraught and a different political calculation than the U.S., is the existence of the multi-party parliamentary system, and those guys, the liberal Democrats.
Oh, those
the bloody lib
sexy
dems.
lib dems.
Okay, yeah. Let's go to this. Let's talk about this. So of course the two major parties are the conservatives.
Good guys and the bad guys.
Conservatives are they're generally slated to get in every election somewhere between 38 and 42% of the vote.
You can identify them by their black cowboy hats.
Fox hunting regalia.
And that's it. And the rest of the country correctly hates them.
Yeah.
The problem is those votes are dispersed mainly, like obviously Labor is, they've consistently been at least either the majority party or the runner-up. And then there's a third party called the Lib Dems.
The Liberal Democrats.
Which
The
Don
two
Hughes,
worst words you can find.
which Bad News Hughes in his intro correctly roasted, and yes, yellow is a horrible fucking link.
I mean,
color.
honestly, that you're
Dog shit. Well, I
it's
mean,
piss, mate. It's the color of piss. It's the color of a coward's stripe on their back. Just who thought that was a good color? I mean, I get it. Red and blue are taken, and those are good. The good ones.
Those
I
are
know.
the
And
good
obviously
ones.
the
Those are good
greens
ones.
are taken. Greens took
yeah,
green.
green, so green, fine.
But come on, man.
Yeah.
Think for a minute.
Green's definitely called dibs on that one.
Yeah.
Obviously, they got that one.
They were entitled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on,
No,
man.
the Lib Dems are actually fascinating because I think it is just a party formed by failures. I mean, like, I don't mean like because they don't, they're a moving target politically. They've switched their position all the time. I think it's just literally people who are not talented or connected enough to get like internships in either of the two major parties.
Yeah, I mean, it's a party of like like this the bourgeois middle class people who like have maybe a cultural affect that makes it untenable for them to be a Tory, but they're very grossed out by all of the anti-Semitism, wink, wink, i.e., class politics of labor. So they're stuck in the middle, and unlike in America, they have their own party and they can make the difference.
Right,
between
yeah,
one
yeah.
Well,
party
in
taking
America,
power and
their own
another.
party is the Democrats.
Well, that's the thing.
So, to their
But
credit,
I just mean what I mean by that is just like both like right now Bernie Sanders is attempting to take over the Democratic Party. And we'll see how it goes. But if he does it, like he actually does it, the lad does it, and he gets control of that party, thanks to our archaic, shitty two party system, there's really nothing for the reactionary Democratic people to do. Except
think-
what? Support Bloomberg and a
I
third
think
party
that's a
run?
little bit questionable, though. I don't know if his project is one of realignment. I think that could potentially be the result
Mm-hmm.
of his success, but I don't know if it's necessarily the goal. But I don't know what goes on in Bernie's head.
Well, I'm sure.
And also, even if he does get to presidency, like we've seen it before. These people do not fall in line
Yeah. Well,
by the way, I know what goes through
unless
Bernie's
he
head.
shoots them down like dogs, which he should.
I know what goes through Bernie head. It's just an endless tape of really misogynistic rap, constantly playing.
I thought it was just like Dodgers corned beef.
Bring them back. Bring it back to
Bring it back to Budges. No, but whether he's going to take over the party or not is that if he was the nomination, that will be like disaster scenario for many people in the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
And they won't have anything to do. Like the only thing that you will be able to do is like back a pathetic, forlorn, vanity Bloomberg candidacy that will get like 2% of the vote in the richest handful of congressional districts in the country.
God, I want that to happen
But
so bad.
because
Like,
of
I want
the-
Bernie to be president,
Well, of course.
obviously, but I want to see these people attempt to splinter.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. Oh, it'll be hilarious.
Oh, the knives will be
God,
out.
it'll be so
But
good.
and the other thing is, I really don't think. See, I think if either Bernie or Warren gets the nomination, I think it would arouse this kind of reaction to varying sizes. But no matter what, it's going to be like 1-2%,
Yeah.
something like that. And I really think if Bernie was the nominee, he could just say "bye, bitch." That does not matter at all. But if Warren were the nominee, I think it actually might make the difference.
Yeah, no, he has. I believe Bernie would have the margins to absorb a third party challenge, but I think a Warren Trump with Bloomberg in there might tip it over. But
and of course, famously, Hillary Clinton could not fucking withstand that.
Yeah.
So.
There's just so many factors,
Yeah.
too, that it almost feels like a complete. I mean, it feels like an absolute fantasy considering any possible potential reality, which I don't know. Like, they just, at this point, I question things so much that I'm just like, I don't know. That's also possible. The most random thing I could think of is also possible. And they could introduce an entirely new factor that I had not have anticipated that completely changes the field.
yeah, but I was just saying. But Bernie would basically be in the catbird seat there.
Yeah.
The Democratic establishment would have little electoral wiggle room there at the presidential level. But because of the glorious multi-party system we have here in the UK, there's this ready-made vehicle for disaffected urbanites to flee to in moments where things look like they might get a little too red, which is what's happening right now.
So who are the Lib Dems? They were in a coalition with James Cameron, and which was the beginning of the austerity decade, and that really destroyed them and discredited them, and they're still really they're still like painted with the austerity brush right now. They're still wearing the yellow A.
Right. And also that's saying a lot because the Labor Party is also painted with the austerity brush as well. So if you are, at least from the Blair years on.
Yeah.
So like if you are more austere than austerity Labor,
that's pretty bloody
suck,
austere, mate. You might be austere then. Yeah. If you're more austere, if you got more tuppence in your bloody car, what's it called?
You didn't think this bit out.
You did not think this bit out.
Boot. I was trying to think of the word boot. If you got more tuppence in your car, never mind.
If your privatized nursing home has another broken privatized nursing home on top of it, you just might be austerity.
There you go. Yes, the glorious Lib Dems, who were, they were.
I still like thinking of them as working under James Cameron. Like that's the funniest joke for the night for me. Because they're all really into Titanic. Like they're the people that saw it multiple times.
And a few of them
I've seen it multiple times. It's a popcorn classic.
And a few of them, I swear to God, know Navi.
It's
you.
Okay, not to get too deep in it, but Titanic objectively a phenomenal film.
No,
excellent,
it's
something
not.
for everyone.
No, it's not.
Something for everyone.
It's only worth looking at because it reminds you that Leonardo DiCaprio was never hot.
Whoa, we are getting hot takes. Hot take, Amber.
Like
he never was.
She is reporting for business. Send all complaints to.
Hey man, I'm trying to get a job here. I'm trying to lay down roots here. I need my own column, so I got to start putting out some piping hot takes.
The romantic stuff is like okay, whatever. But the visuals, the awesome, badass, kicks ass.
It's when the thing sinks, it's pretty good. You can't say otherwise.
There you go.
But that's hour 3 of a 3-hour film. That's not good.
Amber, it's the biggest ship.
It's right in the name.
And they said, "There's no way it's gonna sing.
Not this time.
There's no way." And it's not even just a bad screenplay because they really said it. There's no way it's gonna sing.
Yep.
Which is like, have you ever been on a boat and said, "There's no way this will sink"? Like that's bad vibes.
Do you not know the word hubris? Because it's right there. It's the point of many.
They should have called it the SS Hubris.
It's the point of many a tale, actually.
But the Lib Dems were basically, they were cooked after being in the coalition because people were like, "What are you for?" And now
nothing. They've changed their mind 1,000 times.
Then, like a phoenix from the ashes, they rose thanks to Brexit.
The last
They're
election,
a sponge. They fit in any space.
Yeah.
The last election, their big thing was, we're anti-Brexit. If you elect us, that undoes the referendum, which, people did not think would pass. Yeah. And it's still like very contentious. It's like basically 50-50 all around, whatever. And voters said, "I don't care. I don't give a shit." Like 80+% of the vote went to the Tories and Labor collectively. Yeah. So that failed. This time around, they've got a new leader, and Peter Jackson. And what's their position now?
They're the anti-Brexit party.
They are anti-Brexit. But the things about some of the things about a Tory Brexit, which would be bad, there are different ways to do a Brexit. You got your left Brexit and you got your right Brexit. I tell you what, you don't want one of them right Brexits. They're real bad. So they like some of the anti-immigrant policies like associated with a right-wing Brexit. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, so what we really like is being, under the boot of an unaccountable international capitalist cabal. What we don't like is immigrants.
Yeah.
So they've really picked the worst of every aspect.
I know less now. I don't.
I know. That's what they do to you. That's what the Lib Dems do to you.
Well, that's also what Brexit does to you, because right now the positions are pretty clear. The Tory position is I'm going to do the Brexit, which honestly it kind of is a winning message.
Oh no, it's very smart. Apparently, it's "Get Brexit done" is the Tory slogan, which I think even
it's get her done.
If Well, for one thing, yes. Who doesn't love Boris the Cable Gentleman? No,
Boris the Cable Lord.
it would be Boris the what is it? Boris the TV license guy. They have by the way, you have to get a license for a TV in this country. What the fuck?
Yeah, weird. Weird.
I don't even understand what it is, but I always just say that I have one.
Sure, why not?
And I don't.
Oh shit!
Oh fuck! I didn't get a license. For this thing.
I forgot to do that before I came here.
Oh no!
Don't worry, don't worry, guys. I registered all of our television.
Oh, thank
You guys, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know if this is an interjection, but do you want to hear what Neera Tanden has to say about?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh god, yes. Another county heard from.
Oh, she did a tweet
Oh, thank goodness.
that this letter has been written by so many I admire, including John Le Carre or John Le Carre,
John Le Carre,
which, by the way, good fucking writer. I don't care what he has to think.
He's
about.
also 90 years old.
He's a million billion years old, and also like he works in a right wing genre. Let's be honest.
and literally a secret agent.
So many I admire, including John Le Carre, Oz Cotterjee,
Oh, who doesn't admire him?
apparently his coworkers,
Oh,
our sweet boy. Tom Holland is a tragedy. Labor's anti-Semitism problem should have been rooted out long ago.
wait a minute, Spider-Man? Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
At two Spidey?
Spider-Man. That's
God
it's because
damn
it's
it.
a
Oh,
Jewish
not a
name.
lot of people-
Spider-Man.
Not a lot of people know this, but all
Spider-Man and Spider-Man.
all Hollywood
They're
actors and
laughing.
directors are British. It's a weird thing now. They're
insanely
all like
disproportionate
rich
number.
British people who do perfect American accents.
Yeah.
Concerns about anti-Semitism means we cannot vote Labor. Thank you, Neera.
Thanks, Neera. As always.
Once again, a great put in from Neera.
But
Thank you.
This is a good lead into what I want to talk about here, which is the Lib Dem mindset, because they're polling about above where they should be, just because the Ramoners,
Yes.
the people who say, I definitely don't want the Tories in, but Jez is a little too much for me, and made up whatever fucking reason to oppose fucking Labor, even if it doesn't align with your class interests. It's literally the only way to avoid Armageddon is to vote Labor at this point. But they pretend that voting for Lib Dem, you can still be a decent human being.
Honestly, I think if you vote for Lib Dem, you're a worse human
Oh,
being.
yeah. Because at least there's some honesty. There's some bald-faced honesty to being a fucking Tory.
That's the thing. Yeah, you're just like, oh yeah, I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
Or I'm
like
just,
there are
I'm
literally
rich.
people who are like, well, I just think there's no way. I have friends who are knocking on doors and they're like, go to these areas, these post-industrial areas, and they're like, the only way we're ever going to have, our welfare state restored is if we get out from under the boot of the EU. And it's like, sir, okay, but like people literally like one friend of mine said he's like, I talked to some guy who had a daughter who was like on permanent disability and he was the carer for her, and he was like, look, I don't like him, but Boris is our only way out because he's going to get Brexit done. And he's like, sir.
It's such an easy message. And the thing is, Labour has to have a muddled message because Brexit scrambled the deck. Jez just wants to fight a straight class war.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. But the majority against the few in control of the economy who get all the privileges, they get all the wealth. And Brexit just kind of like just sliced it in half now. So now there's like 4 constituencies to appeal to, and like traditional like urban upscale Labor voters are hardcore Remainers now.
Yeah.
And now
They
he's got to
love their vacations.
so he's got to worry about both flanks when, Jez is like, he's always been, obviously, a pro-Brexit.
He's a critic of the European Union and the traditional Tony Benn. I mean, like, that used to be the thing.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing that the people were if you were on the left.
So, his position is a little more complicated. You can't, write it on a card. You have to explain it to someone, which is essentially that, okay, look, I'm going to do the Brexit deal, but then you get to vote on it. And that'll be the end of it. So it's exactly one step
It's
more.
one extra step, but
It's one
that's
extra
still
step.
one more step that you want.
But that's
because the Tories just get to say, elect us, and you won't have to hear about it anymore.
You won't have to think. This literally, you won't have to think.
Would you like to stop talking about Brexit?
Because
that's such a winning message.
I don't want to
No,
hear
it
the word
really
ever
is.
again.
Yeah.
I only have to see it on Twitter and on TV once in a while, and I never want to fucking see the goddamn. I can't imagine living here and having that be the only thing anyone has talked about for 3 years.
For 3 years, and also keep in mind the majority of, like, no American knows what the European Union is. only like 5 British people do.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It's purposefully opaque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The organization was invented to obfuscate its own purpose. It's a confusing, horrible thing that no one knows what it is.
I mean, I honestly, as I said that thing about, I can't imagine like talking about one thing. That's us with Trump. And I've got to tell you, that is also terrible, but he's so much more entertaining than Brexit.
Brexit.
Oh God!
I mean, he was
awful.
talking about how you had flushed the toilet less than 15 times the other day.
Oh, so
That's
much fun.
gold.
So delightful.
He digests like skeletons and like, because like how does it take 15 times?
I think he shits once a year,
Yeah.
but most of the time, you know what owl pellets are? I think
Yeah.
that's how he digests most of the
Yeah,
time.
no, he takes one shit a year, and it's the size of a Buick, and of course it takes 15 flushes. But anyway, that's the kind of gold you get with Trump. Even though all of us are getting dumber every second, that all we've been talking about is this dumb, senile old man going in like this King Lear play that we're all part
Oh,
of.
we're all sipping dumb bitch juice.
But at least
We
there's
drink deeply of the dumb bitch
yeah,
juice.
there's some zip, there's some riffs. Like he is a clown. He says funny stuff. This is like, but
Also,
what about the
sometimes he
backstop?
gets in a zinger against people we also hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is fun for us.
Otherwise, it's like, oh, but what about the backstop? And what about the Shenzhen zone and the passport color? Blow my brains out.
For your average person, Brexit just means, oh, that's the thing that assholes talk about. There's no normal person talking about it. Anyway, so here's my theory. Here's the one I articulated to Matt earlier today. Let me know what you think about this one, Amber. If Brexit is like if remaining in the EU is your top priority, is your most salient issue in
Yeah.
this election,
If you're a single issue anti-Brexiteer.
you are a pervert. And I realized this actually a few months ago.
Agree.
I
I
realized
like
this,
where this is going.
and here's what caused me to realize this. When I saw the Twitter profile of some random guy who was like, had like the pro Remain hashtags and all that shit, and he had the EU flag in his display name.
I know.
And I just thought, fuck you
Yeah.
fucking dipshit. Like, because honestly,
Also, no one talks about this. I'm sorry to interrupt, but no one talks about this. But one of the things that they bring up when they talk about the value of the European Union, nothing to do with just like being able to shift around like third world workers to the benefit of capital, but they bring up the phrase European culture,
Yeah.
which to me is Nazi shit. Like, first of all, you people have nothing in common with the French. Nothing.
You guys
You're
spent
just
1,000 years
that's
fighting
just
each
code
other.
for like whiteness.
You guys spent 1,000 years fighting each other, for God's sakes.
if you have like the European fucking flag in your display name and your header image is the EU Parliament, you're a pervert.
Yeah.
You are
Yes.
a degenerate
Yes.
You're
pervert.
sicko.
Yeah.
Sicko, sick brain person.
Yeah.
Like you would, I would respect you more if you had the Galactic Senate in your fucking Twitter profile.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
the guy sitting around thinking like, the agriculture subsidies for Andalusian orange growers I find very scintillating. And the way they destroyed the economies of all of those peripheral countries. Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I-
People who, by the way, speak Klingon never destroyed Southern European
Yeah.
countries.
Seriously.
And if I lived here, honestly, I don't know where I stand on the matter, and I understand the arguments on both sides, but at some point I would just stop caring.
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, this is not real politics. At
Yeah.
some point, this is a distraction. This is just libidinal excess.
Yeah.
Right now, being manifested in the lamest possible fucking way.
Yeah.
Which is an obsession with, like you said, the European culture, which is
So creepy.
is manifested in the artificial symbols they invented to pretend that Europe is a nation.
Is a thing.
The
yeah.
fucking flag.
Europe isn't a thing. I mean, it is
it's-
in that it's like geographically a thing or whatever, but like, ugh.
It's not
You're
a-
different countries.
It's not a thing. And so I'll tell you a story from earlier today. Well, we were getting lunch, and it's one of those places where it's like a big bench, so you're sitting next to strangers. You know?
Oh no, I hate that family style
I
eating.
know.
Is
Not great.
no. It
And
should be
I
illegal.
honestly-
that's perverts.
See, I had not realized yet that I'm Will. So this
Did not
should have
know that he was absorbing all of the energy
for Will, because if Will saw something like that, he'd say, "Oh, guys, let's go to another place," because he knows like danger zone, other people.
He gets stranger danger at this point. He's learned the hard way.
Yeah.
And I was telling Matt at a reasonable volume my theory that yes, if your only obsession is pro Remain, you're a pervert. And the guy sitting next to me could not hold it in.
Yeah.
And he started talking to me and say, "Well, that's not the only issue,
Well, no, what it was is you said
you just care more about that than you do health care.
what he said
Fucking
is
piece of
it
shit.
said at this point it has transcended being an issue and it's just a symbol of like an identity. And you say it's just symbolic politics. And
Yes,
then
symbolic,
he turns and goes, "It's not just symbolic." And literally the next words out of his mouth were, "I'm a European."
And so I asked
You
him.
sound racist when you say
So
that
he
shit.
said, "I'm a European," and I
But
thought
like that's literally symbolic. What are you talking about?
But the thing is, no. But I thought what he
You're
meant was
British, you fucking loser.
I thought what he meant was, "Oh, I'm from like Poland or something. I'm literally like a continental European who, because of the EU, the free labor zone, gets to live and work in the UK, and like maybe I'm afraid that
Sure. Because the
they cut the
risk-averse
treaty and the
objections
racist
to-
Tories
yeah,
get in,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they kick me out of a place that I've lived, worked, and paid taxes in for so long." So I asked him where he's from, and he said, "Well, I'm from Leeds, but I'm
not
European."
a good Leeds boy.
And then he continued talking for a while, and it just sucked, and it was awful. It was just like a lot of fucking bullshit that sucked ass. It was
Sucks being a
stupid.
Will.
But as far as I can tell, his core issue is I like to feel that I'm a European.
And
That's
when
so
pressed,
Pervert.
Absolute pervert.
when pressed on the question of like deeper issues and inequality and whatever, and the way that people have been feeling, like large numbers of people in Britain have been feeling the effects of a Brexit long before it happened because they've been just getting annihilated by austerity for a decade. He basically just went black pilled, like, well, nothing can change. That's absurd. Nothing's going to change.
Well, then it either
This is the
matters or it
system.
doesn't.
This is the system. So he's like totally acceded to the system as it
Also, by
exists.
the way, if nothing can change, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah, then
just
who
eat your
cares?
fucking
Then let
eggs.
us leave. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Is
So
that
I
they
would
need
say
to have.
this.
It's like they're totally. He has to be because he doesn't want things to change. He's got that the fake. Cynical thing of like, well, I guess stuff. Oh no, the thing that was giving me a very comfortable lifestyle can't change. Oh darn, that's too. But he
When
gets to
can
be
we
a good
get back
person.
to just like calling like? I mean, I think this is still this. The last hangover of the 90s is the kind of like nihilism, black pill shit, where it's like, when can we just start calling these people lazy and unimaginative?
Yeah,
Like, you're fucking
it's
lazy.
But it's like that's fine. But he has to, because he's a fucking a Londoner now, and he's a fancy lad. He has to have something, some identity about him that rises him above the rabble.
By the way,
it's I'm a European.
Well, I agree with you though that like, so I was like very like reticent about Brexit specifically because Kid was around and all this stuff, and I was like, oh no, and then like the things that I was worried about didn't happen, and I was like, oh well, I mean, this is a thing in the EU, and I learned more about the EU, and it's bad, whatever. But if I lived here, I would be like, just flip a coin. I don't give like at this
shut the
point.
fuck up
at
about
this
it.
point, I would just be like, I want a Labour government. Just fucking move on.
And I mean, like, that really is the winning message for Jez, is to say, look, whatever fucking happens with it, who do you want to be in charge of this process?
We're going to have the best policies for workers, the best policies for trades, the best policies for immigrants. Like, just keep your eye on the fucking prize.
Yeah, no matter what happens. And he threw a sop to the Ramoners and said, look, you get a vote on it, okay? That's your last ditch. You want to go play politics, pretend that like this is some big important thing that fucking matters in your life. Fine, go, have fun, do it. Do another thing, whatever. But after that, it's done.
Yeah.
Okay?
Meanwhile,
that's pretty fair. That's more than these fucking people deserve, right?
The Lib Dems have the Remain party has basically said that they will not cooperate with Labour, but they're open to cooperating with the Tories. And honestly, shouldn't that tell you everything you need to know
Everything
about
you need
the
to know about
actual
these
fucking stakes here?
And I want to clarify here. I'm obviously being a bit glib. Yes, I understand the fucking threat that Brexit poses. I'm specifically talking about brain psychology right now of the fucking egg-eating fucking perverts. It's like, well, I'm a European. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up.
You're a nonce.
Like,
Also, by the way, everyone in the rest of Europe hates you.
Yeah.
You are objectively the worst people
You're
in
English.
every
Fuck off.
fucking city. You're
You're the ugliest Europeans.
These people manage to be worse tourists than us. And I'm not
I
just,
know.
I'm
No,
not
they
saying
are.
that,
They're
but
monsters. They're monsters. I'm sick of the ugly American stereotype. British people's idea of vacations is just vomiting on foreign soil.
No, I'm not saying than Americans. I'm saying than us, the three people here in this room.
Wow.
They are somehow more antisocial than we are.
No, I swear to God, hand to God happened. This was a number of years ago. I was on a cheap budget flight from Manchester to Prague, and that is a very popular lads' weekend vacation.
I bet.
Beer is like free, basically.
Oh, no.
Especially compared to the UK. So it's just a plain load of lads. Little guys named Colin. 15 guys named Colin.
Yeah.
And
Colin Farrell, Colin Firth were there.
Gibbo, all of them. All the guys who said the Queen was dead and got my hopes up. They're all on the plane. And and they're, of course, very loud,
They love being loud.
insanely loud, like getting on the plane. I thought, oh God, this is going to be a nightmare. Thankfully, they were relatively subdued on the plane. But as we left, like I was waiting. I usually wait a little bit. I don't like to stand up and all that stuff. And so it was like kind of me
He
and them.
doesn't like to stand up.
I don't
and
like to
all
stand.
that
Surprise.
stuff.
You know?
And all that stuff. The standing.
Standing.
No, I'm with them. I'm a sit guy. Sit guy, do or die. That's my
one or the
That's
other.
my Brexit.
You're gonna pick-
I'm not one of these fancy standers.
Anyway, I'm just saying. By the time
If you could
I
lie
waited,
prone on a plane,
I
you
waited for a
wouldn't do
bunch
it.
of most people to leave, and it was me and the Collins. And then they're like moving down the aisle, and then one of the Collins runs back and he planked across the top of the airplane seats
shit.
while his other
Not
Collin
a
friends took
piece of
pictures of
shit.
it. And this was at least a year after planking was a thing.
Air Marshal,
Yeah.
Air Marshal, Air Marshal.
Tased, obliterated. No, the British are the worst tourists in
Tase
the
him,
world.
bruv.
Just
Also-
giant red-faced men barfing in your face.
Also, can I just say that there are two modes, exactly two modes here. One is loud, obnoxious, drunk, and bothering me, and the other is complete stone silence
Right.
and getting mad at me.
Exactly. Like,
Again,
you can't
I'm
win.
losing.
Also, I've said this before, I think maybe even on the show, but I'll say it again. I feel like the British colonized Ireland just so they could pretend like there was a worse drinking culture than yours. But Ireland is basically like Southern Europe in the north. Like they drink like, I hate this word, but Europeans. They're a little bit drunk all the time, literally all the time. They are marathon runners. The English are fucking sprinters.
Oh, yeah.
They just binge drink. It's just like they get off work and then they just start pounding, and they're not fun and they're not cool.
Well, all that
and
repression has to go somewhere.
it's just they don't enjoy drinking.
No.
It's just compulsive.
Yeah.
So when you see those, the people with the European flags in their fucking bios and shit, the Ramoners who are contemplating or hardcore voting Lib Dem, just know, okay, those are our resistance libs.
Yes.
They're doing an equally
Also
futile,
perverts.
symbolic thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have the same class position as
Yep.
our resistance libs do.
And they had the same psychic trauma of an election in 2016 going away that they did not expect it to. And they have not, and they've been spending the last 3 years trying to like recontextualize their world.
You can't move on.
They fixed on one thing and one explanation why everything is bad in their life and why everything doesn't make sense anymore, and how they can fix it is get rid of that. Trump or Brexit.
Because in our country, Trump's election like obliterated the symbolic order of libs, and they've been trying to put it
wasn't supposed to happen.
desperately trying to scotch tape it back together. The exact same thing happened here with Brexit. Totally destroyed it.
Fucking-
I woke up and I didn't know what country I was living in. Shut the fuck up.
Like
Shut
you're
up.
fucking like Jackie Kennedy trying to put pieces of skull back on your husband. Get your shit together.
That is the best image of the episode, right there. Yeah, no, same kind of psychos. And what is refreshing is I have not actually concerned myself with American libs in a while because they've all been off having fun with their impeachment busy box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have to follow it. I don't have to argue with them. Or
Gave them a fidget
whatever.
spinner. Remember those folks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're having so much fun, and I just pat on the head, have fun, Junior.
Good luck with that impeachment, guys.
We'll elect Bernie while you're not minding the store.
Apparently, like the Senate approval rate is just like not even done anything. Like no one's noticing. Like literally no one is noticing that there's just like an impeachment hearing going on. Like no one cares.
No one
Like,
cares. And they're gonna quit him on party line, and then it'll be over, and everyone will have forgotten it ever happened.
By the way, I follow a legislation bot on Twitter, and while
You are a legislation bot.
okay.
Oh.
Well, stop it. Stop it. I need people to be nice to me now. And while the impeachment busy box has been going on, what the Senate's been doing is just rubber stamping every maniac in the country to the federal judiciary.
Yes.
So like that thing's happening. The problem here is, of course, your libs they don't have a busy box. Because they're actually doing something dangerous, which is voting for the fucking Lib Dems.
Because they have a viable, quote unquote, third party to put their energies into and take over and completely invest themselves in. Whereas ours are kind of hostages. Like they would have to vote for Bernie. They would have no choice.
Yeah.
Not after spending a lifetime screaming at third party voters.
I think a few of them, though, would try to do it.
Sure.
Like that's what I want to see. Is
but it's not going to be like
splinter.
25% or something like that.
Oh,
it's not
that'll
gonna
be
some
fun.
I want to see him
giant
squirm, and that's honestly for me one of the top reasons to make Bernie the nominee is to
Just to
see
watch
all
them
of these
mash their teeth.
moralizing fucking perverts who spent
vote blue no matter what.
spent years squealing about what a fucking threat to constitutional democracy, what a tyrant Trump is, and how it was those Bernie supporters who didn't vote for Hillary and got him elected, just to watch them crawl back and say, actually, for this reason, the right thing to do is support Michael Bloomberg, even if he'll lose.
I can't vote Labor because of anti-Semitism.
I am a big it's going to be awesome seeing the people try to. Oh, what we saw. No, I was thinking. We saw an amazing glimpse of the first stage of this psychosis that will eventually, it'll be a Kubler-Ross cycle that will end in acceptance. Most of them will end up voting for Bernie. Was after Kamala Harris dropped out, and the K-Hive.
Oh, so much seppuku.
Yeah, no,
No, not seppuku.
No, Kamikaze.
Okay.
They have all collectively taken the black pill.
Yeah.
They are now saying
Also bukkake.
Fuck the Democrats, fuck elections, fuck America. It can all burn to the ground if you're not going to make Kamala Harris president.
They are Ronins now, whose samurai whose liege lord has died.
Yeah.
But
They roam the countryside.
well, they're going to avenge Kamala because I saw so many posts that said, "Okay, K-Hive, new mission: take down Tulsi Gabbard."
I also like.
Also, the most marginal person.
Also, how'd that old mission go? It seems like old mission was elect Kamala Harris president. That did very poorly. So maybe take a second and reassess your capabilities before getting a new mission.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of
Actually, to be fair, going after Tulsi is they're well more capable of doing that than actually getting someone elected.
I also saw a lot of them say, if Tulsi's the nominee, I'm not voting for her.
It's
And
so-
it's not a lot you got to worry about there, Chief.
Well, some of them. The thing is that they all hate Tulsi, of course, because she kind of helped bring Kamala's numbers down. At least, who knows?
In their minds.
In their mind, yeah. But they also hate Yang. They hate Bernie,
of course.
and they hate Warren,
And they hate Pete.
and they hate Mayor Pete, which is true because they're all,
That's cool.
Pete is kind of in the same lane
It's
that
funny.
she is in.
Yeah, they're working in the same.
So it's like
milieu.
So are these people who are the most intersectionally minded of people? Like the reason they like Kamala is because a woman of color hit all their pleasure centers. How are they going to get to the point where they end up backing Biden? Which is inevitable if he's the only one that you don't
A lot of them just
haven't
straight out said
sworn a
Biden.
blood oath against.
Honestly, because it's easy to support him. Because he's just, at this point, I don't know. I fully agree with Felix's argument that it's just so entertaining.
Yeah.
And also that I'm actually,
And I actually want him to debate Trump.
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
I'm also
regardless
not.
of-
I'm
I want that to
also
happen.
not.
Can we make a deal?
I just want to see
Because I'm kind of convinced that Trump, if Bernie is the nominee, I'm kind of convinced that Trump will not debate him. Because he
really.
because he doesn't need to debate him.
Nobody has
Nixon
to do anything.
said no in 72, and it's not like anything happened. Nobody spanked him with a big election naughty stick for violating the rules.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
So I could see Trump being like, nah, I don't want to debate Bernie, just because he doesn't want to get in it on issues, especially against the guy who he can't, smear as a swamp creature or whatever. But so fine. Bernie's the nominee. He doesn't debate Trump. Just have Biden debate Trump.
Yes.
I just
Absolutely.
want to watch it.
I want an extension of the Grumpy Old Men franchise.
I just want just these two men in terminal cognitive decline having competing and non-intersecting conversations with people who are not in the room.
Yeah.
I also think.
Or at least to see Felix do like a stage adaptation of what it might be.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's what we should. We should do the Sorkin thing and like write it out.
Yeah.
But also with Biden, I mean, look, I know it would be bad. It would not be good, but he's got maybe 9 months of object permanence left. How much damage could he do? I guess it depends who his VP is.
Yeah.
So I'm not that. I mean,
or Jill Biden, she might pull a Florence Wilson and just become the president.
Yeah.
they can't from the same state, so they would not get Delaware's electoral
No, I
votes.
just mean that she wouldn't be the VP. It's just the way that Woodrow Wilson's wife in his last year of his term when he had the stroke, she basically was governing for him.
Oh, yeah.
So it would just be the Jill Biden show.
Oh, I thought you meant more like a Southern governor type thing.
No.
Yeah.
Lurleen Wallace.
Which is also, I think, what was the justification for Hillary was that old just Southern tradition of like, well, I've reached the end of my term limits. I'll just, tag in my wife.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's bad, but in terms of like all the non-Bernie candidates getting in there would be bad.
It'd be bad.
At least with Biden, one, it's entertaining, and two, yeah, he'll just be a vegetable. So that's way, I mean, honestly, any like non-Bernie type candidate, anyone not in that same ideological space getting in, the best thing we could all hope for is like total gridlock, nothing happening.
Yeah.
Basically. And it's, it's good to have, it's good to hope.
I think it's, though, good to just keep in mind that Bernie could win. He could really win. We could pull it off. He could be president. We could have a President Sanders.
Hey,
We
Bernie
could have a
Goodwin.
President Jewish.
We could have the first anti-Semitic Jewish president.
Yes. And we could actually, he's going to face insane opposition, particularly from within his own party, just like Jazz has. But he's got people behind him, and he didn't put all his eggs in the party basket. He put his eggs in like building a movement.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really why it honestly doesn't matter who it is if it isn't Bernie. Because from Warren to fucking Mayor Pete, whatever, Cory Booker, throw it out. Amy Klobuchar, she poisons everyone red wedding or purple wedding style, and she's the last one standing.
Okay.
This gridlock at this point is baked in and intransigent. Nothing will change in the current array with the Senate the way it is, the House the way it is, the judiciary. We have a sedimentary creation.
Well, another grand bargain type scenario
Right,
was
that's
the thing
the
that
best
I worry
case
about.
scenario. Best case scenario is something that just cuts entitlements. That's it. That's the only big thing that could
worst
happen.
case scenario.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean like that's the best case in terms of any large legislation getting through, and that's terrible. And like that's going to happen no matter what, because none of them can fucking change the arithmetic. Only Bernie can change the math by creating that movement that creates pressure from outside of the system. Because within the system, it's dead. There's nothing going on anymore. The bacteria, they're all
Bernie is the true math candidate.
He's the only one. It's all aerobic breathing.
We're getting high on fumes.
You're getting high on fumes.
We need to throw something else in there.
No, yeah, you're in the car. Like the American political system is it's the car in the drive, the car in the
garage.
The car in the garage with the fucking key turn.
La-di-da, garage.
In the car hole. It's the car in the car hole with the engine on and the window down, and you're just taking deep, nice breaths. And it's just slowly that carbon monoxide is replacing your blood cells, and you don't even know it.
Well, so
only Bernie can open the garage door.
One button on this conversation. I'm sure you all saw this. This is an advertisement that the Lib Dems
you
posted
say it like
on
that
Facebook.
now? You come here like twice and you say it like that now?
I have actually said it that way for a long time.
No, you know what? I back him on this because this is a man who has multiple times in my presence ordered a Kaiser salad. So,
yeah. Okay, sponsored by Lib Dems. The Liberal Democrats will build a brighter future and a fairer economy. Find out more about her plans. And attached is a photo with it was a picture of Boris Johnson in black and white, frowny, with more of the same written. And then there's a picture of Peter Jackson, the Lib Dem leader, nice and colorful, with the caption "Skills Wallets."
Skills wallet.
Skills Wallets.
Folks,
Oh,
don't
that's
worry.
cool.
Don't worry. Your grandmother's blood is being replaced with Caro syrup by Kaiser Permanente while I'm talking to you, but you get a skills wallet.
There's nothing that I think encapsulates the Lib Dem pervert mindset better than Skills
The
Wallet.
skills wallet was the most perfect thing.
Honestly, that ad should be sponsored by Labor.
Yeah.
Hang on. So what is a skills wallet? Did anyone figure it out?
I know what a skills wallet is.
You know what you shouldn't learn.
That's true. That is my motto.
Don't
Yeah, you know
ruin
what? Okay, I'll ask you. What do you think a skills wallet is?
Fuck. Shit, dude.
Just imagine it.
Fuck, dude. I guess
It's called a vulva,
it could.
and I don't appreciate this vulgar slang.
Okay. Maybe it's a wallet that holds a bunch of certifications of like classes you took.
Okay, wait a minute. So when they say we're offering a skills wallet, do you think the Lib Dems are saying you'll get
A literal
like
wallet.
a literal wallet?
I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I guess it's figurative then. So it's. I guess they mean like a skills portfolio. Fuck, this sucks.
Right, but how are they going to give you the
Dude,
skills?
It's a fucking unpleasant image.
How are
dude.
they going to put the skills
Like
in your wallet?
Wallets are ugly things, you know. There's
They're
no, like-
utilitarian.
yeah, exactly. I mean, they work, but they're not pretty.
But no, how do you put the skills in the wallet? What are they going to do to put those skills in your wallet?
How is baby formed?
Okay.
Do you want to know? Or do you want to keep it a
I
mystery?
think we need to know.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. What is it?
So the skills wallet
Jesus
is
Christ.
it's a series of educational grants basically to British people that are released. It's £10,000 total that are released in tranches over your working life. So you get you graduate from fourth form or you get your A levels or whatever the fuck you call it.
Yeah.
And you get like $2,000 to go towards skills. And then you hit 30.
So it's like a Mike Rowe thing.
You
That's
get-
like, oh, the reason why you're poor is because you're stupid.
Exactly.
So-
Well, that's the only neoliberal answer to deindustrialization and all this stuff is just you need skills.
Skills wallets.
So yeah, and then you hit 40, you get another last order or a last tranche of £2,000. Then you hit 45 and you are humanely euthanized.
Okay, I'm kind of
Okay.
ashamed of this, but a few years ago, I found a skills wallet on the subway, and I was kind of hard up at the time. So I just pocketed the skills and I left it there.
Damn. What would you
I
do,
know,
John
I'm-
Quinones?
I got one more. Joe Swinson tweeted this with the hashtag Brighter Future.
Peter Jackson, the head of the Lib Dems.
This is their solution to the horrible housing crisis in the UK, where you have to pay almost as much as New York rents to live in a wet cave. We will reform the private rental sector with a help to rent scheme, giving all first-time renters under 30 tenancy deposit loans to help get into the market.
Oh, no. Oh.
Brighter future.
this is-
Hashtag brighter future.
This is an aside, but this
30 tenancy deposit loans
Ooh,
to help them get into the market.
I'm getting wet on this shit.
This used to be, by the way, one of the countries with some of the best public housing.
Yeah, no. That's the thing is after World War II, the U.S. and Britain both had it's Goofus and Gallant really after World War II.
Yeah.
One kicked the can down. One allowed the AMA to strangle Medicare, strangle socialized medicine in the crib, and built a bunch of suburbs with private money and then subsidized it through FHA loans. The other just fucking created a government insurance industry or a government healthcare government healthcare. What do you call it? A government healthcare system. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
It's
Oh my
late
God.
and I'm very punchy. One of them, and then the other one created a government healthcare system and just built a bunch of houses.
Yeah.
Social housing.
What if you just built the houses?
But then it's
What if
amazing.
actually socialism was actually way more easy and less complicated and less bureaucratic than
Well, the horror though is that
Dumb
slowly over
bullshit.
time we're arriving at we're hitting a point. We're coming together after that initial divergence.
Mm-hmm.
After World War II, we're slowly coming together, but not in the good direction.
Yeah.
They're coming.
they're
You're getting.
becoming
You're in the
us.
process of getting as shitty as us. Well, you're being pulled.
Congratulations, shitheads.
Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Pull your asses out of the fire.
Yeah. You have a chance to do that before you're just all gig economy people with like an organ on loan that is pumping
Low
somebody else's
labor.
blood.
Stakes are very high.
Pull yourself out of the fire. Corbin, good. Bernie, good. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I think I might yell that at some people tomorrow.
Yeah.
Once again, UK, thank you so much for your hospitality. We will see you in London Monday night. Tuesday night, tickets still available for the Tuesday night show. And we will see you Liverpool on Wednesday night. And then after that, we're going to go hang out in Manchester. But
Yeah.
you don't need to know that.
And also, if you're a British subject and you found anything we said in this episode objectionable, and if our analysis of your culture, its mores, its politics incorrect,
DM Virgil.
Oh.
Texas.
Or just yell at me like you've been doing. Just
Oh,
harass
mate,
me.
Your last episode was a lot of bollocks, isn't it?
Yeah, like I'm not going to understand what you're saying. I'm just going to smile.
I'm
and
cancelling me bloody Patreon.
I can't perceive whether you're mad or like threatening me or you're joshing around. It doesn't matter. Just yell it and I'll just smile and then we'll go on with our day.
Just as a last thing, just to bring to politics and just the general wrongness of Britain together. Like when Amber was reading off the last hot fire Lib Dem proposal, she reminded me that in Britain they call political policy plans schemes.
Oh, I love it. It's so
Schemes.
devious.
But it's like it's really
I'm tensing my
alienating.
fingers right
it's
now.
It's like we've got a healthcare scheme. It's like I bet you do. It's like
You shifty bastard.
You're just doing the hand rub together while you say that. I guess the word has a different connotation.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, it must.
It has to.
Yeah.
Or else, I mean...
Where from a scheme implies deviousness.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
that. Someone's up to something. When
yeah,
they had a scheme.
the governments here aren't just...
Americans don't really trust planning
I guess
of
not.
any kind at all.
Yeah, it has a different connotation. The governments here aren't just like releasing documents saying, our evil plan.
I'm just imagining a British Liz Warren saying, "I've got a scheme for that."
Oh, God.
Imagine that's literally somebody running to be like
That's just Joe Swinson.
yeah, basically. But like that would be somebody running to be like galactic overlord. I have a scheme for that. I will turn you on to nutrient paste with my laser.
Okay, let that be the last little image that,
Yes.
you go off to sleep.
Blissfully liquidated into nutrient goo for the next generation of influencers and data-driven job creators.
All right, one last big push for labor. Do it. Knock doors.
Do it. Do it.
Do
He'd
it.
do
One
it for
last
you.
big push.
He
One
would-
last big push.
He would do it for you.
You would do it for you.
You would?
He's a way better person than
Yeah.
any of us. Oh, God.
If you're cold, he's cold. Let him in.
Perfect.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Ta-ta.